A romantic stroll on the beach that turned horrifying. With the warm sun overhead, the soft sand between your toes, and the waves softly lapping at your feet, walking barefoot down the seashore is sometimes regarded as the pinnacle of romance. For others, it's a picture-perfect moment. But for one unwary couple, what started out as a peaceful beach stroll swiftly turned into a horrifying and agonizing experience. They would always remember what they discovered. Upon returning home, turned their dream vacation into a medical nightmare. The moment they looked down at their feet, they were overwhelmed with shock and disgust. What they saw was deeply unsettling, enough to make even the strongest stomach churn. Even more baffling was the response they received from the medical professionals they turned to for help. Despite clearly alarming symptoms, doctors initially refused to provide treatment. This unexpected roadblock left the couple feeling helpless and scared and marked the beginning of a far more complicated journey toward healing. Now let's delve into what really happened to this couple and why. Their story serves as a chilling warning to travelers everywhere. Katie Stevens, 22, and her 25-year-old boyfriend, Eddie Zittner, were excited to escape the routine of everyday life with a romantic getaway to Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. The couple envisioned long, carefree days under the sun, complete with barefoot walks on picturesque tropical beaches. But what they didn't realize was that the sand they walked on so freely harbored invisible dangers, ones that would turn their dream vacation into a disturbing medical ordeal. When they returned home to Canada, their vacation bliss quickly gave way to concern. Just days after unpacking their bags, both Katie and Eddie began experiencing an intense itching sensation in their feet. At first, they brushed it off, thinking it was simply the aftermath of mosquito bites or a mild allergic reaction to something in the sand. But what seemed like a minor irritation rapidly evolved into something far more alarming. The itching soon became relentless, an almost unbearable sensation that worsened with each passing day. Swelling followed. Then painful blisters and red inflamed lumps began to appear on the soles and sides of their feet. What initially looked like common bug bites transformed into grotesque lesions that made walking agonizing. It wasn't long before the couple realized they were dealing with something far more serious. After seeking medical attention, they were horrified to learn they had contracted a parasitic skin infection known as cutaneous larva migrans, CLM. This condition occurs when the larvae of hookworms, tiny nematode parasites, penetrate the skin, often through bare feet that come into contact with the contaminated soil or sand. These parasites are common in tropical and subtropical regions and thrive in warm, moist environments like beaches frequented by stray animals. The larvae can burrow beneath the skin and migrate, leaving behind inflamed, itchy, and blistered tracks, an unmistakable and disturbing hallmark of the infection. What began as a peaceful stroll on a beach quickly turned into a vivid cautionary tale, one that Katie and Eddie would soon feel compelled to share with the world. According to Medscape, cutaneous larva migrans, CLM, is the most common dermatological condition contracted in tropical regions. However, with the increasing frequency of international travel, cases are no longer confined to warm climates. Incidents are now being reported in places like North America, where doctors may be less familiar with such infections. The parasites that cause CLM typically enter the body through direct contact with bare skin, making barefoot beachgoers especially susceptible. For Katie and Eddie, what started as mild discomfort soon escalated into severe physical distress. Their feet grew increasingly inflamed, covered in blisters and welts, so painful that even standing became a challenge. The infection rendered basic movement difficult, turning everyday tasks into painful ordeals. As the symptoms worsened, the couple turned to social media to share their experience, and the images they posted were nothing short of alarming. Photos of their swollen, blistered feet quickly spread online, drawing reactions of shock and sympathy. Their story sparked concern and made many travelers think twice about walking barefoot in tropical locations. Frustrated and desperate for help, Katie and Eddie visited multiple medical facilities. They consulted 3 different physicians, each of whom was initially unsure of the cause behind the unusual symptoms. It wasn't until they encountered a doctor who had recently treated a similar case in another international traveler that they finally received a correct diagnosis. According to CTV News, this timely recognition proved crucial. Without that doctor's prior experience with CLM, Katie and Eddie might have continued to suffer without proper treatment. Their ordeal highlights not only the risks of parasitic infections in tropical environments, but also the importance of medical professionals being informed about conditions that are becoming increasingly global in nature. In a Facebook post that quickly went viral, Katie issued a blunt and urgent warning to fellow travelers. Please be careful when walking in the sand. My boyfriend and I returned from Punta Cana and found out we had parasites, worms in our feet. If your feet become extremely itchy, don't ignore it. We thought they were just bug bites, but it got worse every day. Her post was accompanied by graphic, hard-to-look-at images of their blistered and swollen feet, photos that shocked viewers and underscored the very real dangers of something as seemingly harmless as walking barefoot on the beach. Katie's candid message resonated with thousands, turning her personal ordeal into a public safety alert. What she and Eddie experienced became more than just an unfortunate vacation mishap. It became a powerful cautionary tale about the hidden risks that often go unnoticed in tropical environments. Their story serves as a clear and compelling reminder. Always take precautions when visiting beaches in warm, humid climates. Most importantly, wear proper footwear when walking on sand, especially in areas where stray animals may roam or hygiene standards may be uncertain. What starts as an idyllic walk along the shore can, without warning, become a painful and terrifying medical emergency. Katie and Eddie's experience is proof that a little caution can go a long way in protecting your health while traveling. Stay safe and stay informed. Although Katie and Eddie were relieved to finally receive an accurate diagnosis, their ordeal was far from over. What they learned next was both shocking and deeply unsettling. They each had dozens of parasitic worms living inside the soles of their feet. The realization that their bodies had become unwilling hosts to living organisms was almost too much to bear. It's really disgusting, Eddie told the Windsor Star. It's something that shouldn't be there, something foreign that's actually thriving inside your body. The mere thought of parasites crawling and burrowing just beneath the surface of their skin was enough to make them feel nauseated. It turned their discomfort into revulsion, compounding the physical pain with a psychological toll that made their experience all the more traumatic. Their story is a sobering reminder of how quickly a simple vacation can turn into a disturbing medical crisis, and why awareness and precaution are essential when traveling to tropical destinations. Unfortunately, receiving a diagnosis was only the beginning of a new set of challenges. While Katie and Eddie finally knew what was causing their agony, getting the proper treatment became an unexpected and frustrating ordeal. The medication prescribed to combat their condition, ivermectin, is widely recognized for its effectiveness in treating parasitic infections like cutaneous larva migrans. Yet, despite its proven track record, Health Canada did not approve access to the drug for their particular case, leaving the couple in limbo and unable to have their prescription filled domestically. Faced with no other option, Eddie's mother took matters into her own hands. She made a lengthy trip across the border to the United States, where she was able to purchase the medication from an American pharmacy. It was a journey that highlighted the bureaucratic obstacles patients can face, even when the treatment is clear and readily available elsewhere. Frustrated by the situation, Katie expressed her disappointment with a sharp dose of sarcasm. "Thank you, Canada, for your lovely healthcare system." The experience revealed an alarming gap in access to essential medications and added unnecessary stress to an already painful recovery. What should have been a straightforward treatment process turned into yet another hurdle in their harrowing journey. The couple's experience sparked wider concern over the accessibility of certain medications in Canada, especially in cases involving rare tropical infections. Health experts also weighed in on the dangers highlighted by Katie and Eddie's experience. Dr. Daniel Kinski, an infectious disease specialist and associate professor at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in Maryland, spoke with Cosmopolitan about the real risks of walking barefoot in tropical environments. While the sensation of sand between your toes might feel nice, the risk of picking up a parasitic infection like this is very real, he cautioned. The consequences for Katie and Eddie were more than just uncomfortable, they were debilitating. The severity of the infection left both of them temporarily unable to walk without assistance. Their feet were so damaged and painful that they had to rely on crutches during recovery. What began as a romantic beach stroll had turned into a physically exhausting and emotionally scarring ordeal, one they would regret long after the vacation ended. Determined to turn their painful experience into a public service, the couple shared graphic photos of their blistered, infected feet on social media. While the images were difficult to look at, they hoped their transparency would help others avoid the same fate. Their goal was to educate travelers about the very real health risks that can come from going barefoot in tropical regions. Their message was direct and urgent. Take the risk seriously. Always wear appropriate footwear on the beach, especially in areas where animal contamination may be present. And if you experience unusual symptoms like persistent itching, swelling, or strange skin lesions, don't wait. Seek medical attention immediately. Katie and Eddie's story is more than a vacation horror tale. It's a critical reminder of how a little precaution can make the difference between a relaxing holiday and a painful medical emergency. Katie and Eddie's experience stands as a powerful reminder of just how quickly a dream vacation can spiral into a nightmare, and of the critical need for healthcare systems to be equipped and responsive when rare yet serious conditions arise. Their story highlights the importance of awareness, prevention, and timely access to effective treatment.